Hey guys, it's me here with your weekly update. I just want to do a quick check-in before I get into all the details. So, if I were to ask you guys, how are you doing? How can I be praying for you? Let me know. Send me an email, drop me an email. Um, specific ways I could be praying for you. I would love to be able to do that. I just want to encourage you guys, as I don't know, I found myself even as, things start to get colder and it's harder to do things outside. I'm starting to hear a lot of people like, I just don't know how I'm going to get through this season with COVID and the numbers going up and, you know, all the various things. And I just want to encourage you guys to just take some time if you can and come up with a plan. It was actually really sweet. My son's school actually had the kids do this where they had to write down who are three people that you are going to plan that you can reach out to in this time, and what are three practices you can do for self-care during this time. So I would just encourage you guys to, as we, look ahead to to this fall, to the winter, just to think through like what is it that we need to do? Do we need to buy exercise equipment so we can still work out at home, or do we just need to make sure everybody has warm clothing so that we can do more family hikes outside while it's cold outside? So I just would encourage you guys to think through those two questions. And if your first thought is on the three people, like, man, I don't have a single person that I feel like I could reach out to in this time, put me down on your list. Put me as number one. I would be more than happy to be that person for you. So you can just email me and I'll be more than happy to give you my phone number if you don't have it, just as a way of, knowing that you guys have a way to connect with me in the moment if you need to. But I just want to encourage you guys to just even take some time now to think and make a plan so that way there you have a plan. You know what you can do. You have people you can reach out to, and you have ideas of things that are life giving for you that you can just engage in during this time. Cannot wait to get a lot of sewing done for my kiddos. So that's one of my things on my list has been sewing. Another thing is, what are your spiritual disciplines, right? So one thing I've been doing, you guys, if you are kind of like, man, my spiritual disciplines haven't been working or they've kind of fallen away, I'm looking for something new, is I've actually been writing out scripture. And I just have found that I've really loved that because it's forced me to really slow down as I'm reading it. Um, and then plus I'm reading it several times because I have to be like, wait, what am I writing again? But more specifically, I've been writing out the Lord's Prayer. If you guys, aren't familiar with the Lord's Prayer, that's the part in the Gospels where, the disciples go to Jesus and they're like, hey, like, can you teach us how to pray? And he goes, this then is how you shall pray. And he goes into the Lord's Prayer. And so, especially if you find yourselves in this season of like, man, I don't even know how to pray. I don't even know what to be praying for. I would just encourage you guys to start with the Lord's Prayer, whether you write it down or you just recite it. That is something I read every night before bed. I would, pray it with Abigail, and after a few weeks, she was even able to say it. So at 4 years old, she knows the Lord's Prayer, even though and it was great because it gave us a chance to talk about what the different words mean in it. But yeah, I would just encourage you guys to really just make a plan through three people to connect with, life-giving practices, and what are your spiritual disciplines that you plan on engaging in during this season, so that we can hopefully stay healthy during this time. There's a lot happening, so I'm just going to go really, really quick through the list, okay? Just so you guys are aware. And by the way, as I say any of these things, if something sparks and you're like, oh man, that sounds fun and exciting, and you're willing to help out with it, let me know. We could always use help, especially behind the scenes. So not everything requires people to be in the building on a Sunday. So if you're like, hey, I'm kind of hanging out at home, trying to minimize contact, that's fine. There's plenty of ways you guys can actually do this behind the scenes. So first of all is our trunk or treat this Saturday. I know Juliet would love to have a lot more cars available. We have about several hundred people in the community who have indicated an interest and an intention of attending. So that's going to be like several hundred kids if you think about it, because that's like 200 parents said yes. That means they're bringing all their kids, which means that's going to be a lot of kids from our community. And I think it's so sweet that we're able to provide a space for families to safely trick or treat, because I know that's been a big concern for families. So if you're like, hey, I'm willing to come and decorate a car, hand out some candy for a few hours, I'll let my spouse take the kids trick or treating. Heck, they can even bring them through the trunk or treat. I think it would just be a really great way to serve our community and just show them like, hey, we're here, we see you, we care for our families. Second of all, we have our gratitude packets are being handed out this Sunday. So even if you guys didn't register for one, you can on the app. or if you know of anybody you think would want it. But it basically comes with lots of things you guys can do as a family to just focus on gratitude for the month of November, because believe it or not, Sunday is November 1st. Second of all, is starting November 8th, we are actually going to be changing our service times, because we're going to be able to, we're slowly starting to open up more kids' classrooms. And so as we do, we just need more time between services. And so Corey has graciously agreed to, like, let's widen the gap between the two services so that we have more time to get kids in and out and sanitize and everything and get families through our hallway safely. So starting November 8th, so this Sunday the service times will still be 9:30 and 10:30, but starting November 8th, it'll be 9 and 10:15. So just keep that in the back of your mind, whether you're serving or even just attending on a Sunday, what our service times are going to be. Brandon McKenzie, you guys will be seeing an email coming out shortly, but we are going to be doing a virtual Christmas pageant. So Brandy's looking over the script right now. We're going to be emailing families. So if you guys are interested, your kids are interested in participating, or if you're like, hey, again, I'm at home, I have some editing skills, or I'm willing to learn some editing, like any way that you think you could help with that, please reach out to Brandy. I know she would love help, but I think it's going to be fun. It's great to provide kids like something like, hey, normally we do a Christmas pageant, and even though it's going to look different, we still get to do it. And it's just such a fun way to actually tell the Christmas story this year. We're going to be doing Advent boxes or Christmas boxes for families. So we're slowly working on getting all those together for families. So again, look for a link to sign up if you're willing to help fill stuff from home and bring boxes in or whatever, help hand them out. That would be great. Far and wide, these boxes are going to be one per family. So lots of fun things. That are going to be included. So we just want to bless families, encourage them to spend time together during this Advent season. I was actually just talking to somebody who's like, and then in the spring when this happens, I'm like, whoa, stop, slow down. We're about to enter into Christmas, the birth of Jesus, where don't rush to the spring or to when the next thing happens that we completely miss what God's doing now, and opportunities to really connect as a family during the season. I think it's going to be really important that we do that. And so I'm excited for these boxes to really give our families that opportunity to connect together with each other, and then obviously learning and focusing in on Jesus during the season. And then we'll probably be doing child dedications. We're still working on details, so if you get any questions from parents, just have them come towards me. I'm taking a list of all the families who are interested, and Corey and I are kind of going back and forth on some logistical pieces of what we think that's going to look like before we email them. But you can just point them in my direction, or even if you're interested, just let me know, so that way I can keep you guys in the loop. Okay, so I think that's it. Yeah, so again, if you guys are like, hey, I'm willing to be around kids on Sundays, I mean, our kids have been really enjoying their time. It's been really sweet hearing their laughter in the hallways again. If you're willing to like decorate the space, because again, I still believe, environment and the way it looks is actually very important for kids, and it helps them get excited about what's happening. Again, these are all ways that you can serve without being in with kids. I think that would be great. I could really use you guys as much help as possible. Really, it's how much we're able to do is really limited and determined by how many people are willing to help and serve out. So I thank you guys so much. I love you. I'm praying for you guys. And by the way, if you're hearing all this and you're like, man, I really just can't serve right now, that's okay, by the way. It's not, I love you no matter whether you're serving or not. So I hope you guys know that. I hope you hear that. Let me know how I can be praying for you. And hopefully to see you guys on a Sunday, or at least at Ijahaji, or just in an email so that we can connect. All right, bye.